So we have 2 grams of kratom powder here. It's 0.5 grams per cup. So we're gonna have more than 4 cups. So I think 2 grams is safe. Check with us later. And we're just gonna dissolve that in hot water just so that the powder will dissolve and you will not have that like weird aftertaste. And then we will mix it with our black lavender mint tea that we already prepared in advance and it's cooling in the fridge. So for boba tea, for this syrup, we will need 1 cup of water, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1 cup of lightly packed brown sugar, and then for bubble tea we would need 6 tablespoons of the same brown sugar, 1/4 cup of water, 1/4 teaspoon of black food coloring if you want, 1/2 cup of tapioca flour or tapioca starch. Check out the Hispanic markets for those. It may be hard to come across in the regular store, or check the international food section. And then 5 to 6 cups of strong black or green tea, hot or chilled. In our case, it's chilled. And then you may use cream, milk, or condensed milk if you want to sweeten it up. It's an optional too. We have 1 cup of regular sugar and 1 cup of brown sugar over here in a small saucepan, and I'm adding 1 cup of water to make a simple syrup. It's funny, we're making it first, but then we're not gonna use it until way later in the recipe. So.
All right, so now that the simple syrup has dissolved, we're going to go ahead and transfer it and then set it in the refrigerator to cool for a bit.
So the syrup is just going to a glass container until further notice.
Right, so here we have our 1/4 cup of water and 6 tablespoons of light brown sugar. We already combined them and stirred them, so now we just want to bring it to a rolling boil, and then we will add our tapioca flour. So we're adding the last half of the tapioca flour, and now we do want to stir it until it is completely combined. So we're going to really try and work out those lumps.
We've been mixing this for about 3 minutes and it does look kind of weird. See all the clumps and lumps. What we're doing now is dumping all of this on a tapioca floured surface. I'm using a silicone mat, but you can just dump it on the counter using a spatula and a metal spoon, or in my case a whisk. They do recommend metal. Let it cool and then we will knead it just like the dough. It is sticking to everything. It's so fun to work with. But yeah, they're saying like use metal something because it catches onto metal a little bit better. Maybe I should have listened to them and got the spoon. Let me do that. Let's see. Well, it's kind of like a really funny substance right now. It feels like you're working with glue. They were not lying. Metal spoon is the key to work it out of there. I don't want to leave it because like every little bit is going to be my teeny tiny boba and I want it. To me, it doesn't seem like a lot of material to work with, but I guess wait until we knead it and then roll it. So as soon as it is cold enough to touch, just knead it like you would a dough. Try to work out all the lumps. It feels very weird, but just keep rolling. And what I'm doing is basically like I'm squishing it and then kind of using the palm of my hand, just pushing it down. And I feel it's smoothing out a little bit. I do still feel the lumps. Keep adding tapioca flour. That's important because it sticks to your fingers as you go and you don't want to lose any of it because it's not much at all. So if it's too dry, add a little bit of cold water, 1 teaspoon at a time, not to overdo it. And then if it's too dry, add a little bit more of tapioca flour. But remember that the surface has to be floured at all times to avoid sticking.
So Anna just asked if I wanted to do a quality control check. She said try. I figured try meant eat it.
All right.
It tastes like tapioca pudding.
Oh, thank God.
It's our first time making boba, so we weren't sure what to expect.
Yeah, it's still very much flaky and, you know, weird on the inside.
It tastes good.
Thank God, because that's all we have right now at this point, the taste. But it is very lumpy. So I guess the next time, you guys, when you're gonna do this, try to sift tapioca into the water sugar mixture instead of just dumping like I did, and stir vigorously. Like, make sure you try and break all the lumps beforehand, because it's really hard to get them out. Afterwards, you can see all of the lumps are just basically like baked in there, and it's hard to break them apart. Stop! All right, so if we don't have enough bowl, you know who to blame.
Okay, so Anna is now separating the paste into 3 equal pieces, and then she's gonna roll each of them into the shape of a log, and they have to be less than 1/4 inch wide. And as you can see, she still has tons of tapioca on her silicone mat, which helps because that way she can keep the logs dusted with the flour, and then we'll be able to cut into them. All right, so we've rolled it out into where it's 1/4 inch thick. While it might look small, because we were concerned about the width of this, we're thinking that once it soaks in the simple syrup that we made, then that's when the tapioca balls will really swell up. So here are some that Anna's already cutting. And while she cuts them, I'm gonna go ahead and then start rolling them into the little famous boba shape.
Oh. So 3 hours later, we'll see you guys, because right now we're just rolling the balls. Yeah, make sure when you do this, you have plenty of time. This is not a, oops, unexpected guest kind of dessert. You know, perfect for a rainy day, for a day when you don't know what to do in quarantine, when you're like bored out of your mind, and
or you invite your guests to come and work.
Perfect.
So, rolling balls update.
We have 3.
We have
3
6.
down, 500 to go.
We have 6.
So if you're worried that this is like not enough dough, it's enough dough. Make sure you keep your hands dusted in tapioca flour so that the balls won't be sticking to your hands and you won't lose them. And then also make sure they are completely covered so they don't stick to each other.
We have more than 10 rolled at this point. I can snack.
You deserve it.
Mm-hmm. So Anna's already started cutting our second log. So we will be here for probably another 10 hours still rolling tapioca balls. But it'll be worth it. So stick around. All right, you guys. So now that the water is boiling, I'm going to start adding the tapioca balls. So this is a medium-sized saucepan, and it's filled to about 3/4 cups of water. And as much as I love cooking and eating, I'm also super afraid of always getting burnt or boiled. So that's why you see me just kind of tossing these in just a few at a time. I have no idea what that angle looks like.
Well, we cannot see your face, so you're totally cool. You can be as scared as you want. But what my mom always said is, you are the master of the kitchen. Everything in the kitchen belongs to you and reports to you. So be no afraid.
All right.
A little party going on over here. And they, almost like dumplings, they need to rise up.
We can't pay Lin-Manuel credits.
You want me to throw away my shot?
Oh no. This here, they're going to boil for about 10 to 12 minutes. Once they've all risen to the top, then we will be able to drain them and set them off to the side to cool. All right, so our boba pearls have boiled long enough. They may not look like your typical spherical boba pearls, but hey, good news is they did not stick out. That was a nice little positive that Anna pointed out.
Hashtag nobody's perfect.
So now that they're ready, we're going to go ahead and strain them. All right, so now we're rinsing them with cold water. Don't worry if they're sticking. That cold water is really gonna help loosen them up. And if need be, you just use a spatula just to kind of get them out. From here, we're gonna move them over to our simple syrup.
Babies. And I prefer more simple syrup than less, just so they can be all submerged. And yeah, see what happened here? We didn't put the cold water fast enough, so it got a little bit sticky on the bottom, but it still keeps the shape because we had enough of tapioca starch to begin with, so they all were separated. And now, beauty. Yeah.
All right, you guys, so the boba has set for 30 minutes. It got a little sticky together, but that's okay. And so it's about 20 boba pearls per serving. So I'm gonna go ahead and set them out in our fancy tall glasses. And we'll show you the final product.
Well, as long as it tastes Oh, wow. So, for next time, you were totally...
Because I always associate boba tea with something milky in it. There we go.
Well, this is my favorite way of packaging the condensed milk. You can buy it in Russian stores. It's super easy to squeeze. Love it. Oh, I like how it looks.
All right, you guys, so we made it our first attempt at homemade boba. You were with us through the whole process. Now is the moment of truth,
I'm excited
and we'll
to try
see
this.
how it goes. Cheers. We did pretty good.
It is a little sticky. Some of them are big.
Yeah.
But once it actually makes it through the straw into your mouth, you get the feeling like you just paid $7 for this.
So you're welcome. So we wanted to share something with you that we absolutely loved from our trip to St. Petersburg, and that was the Kratom Boba Tea over at the Mad Hatters. Make sure you check them out and give us a shout out. Let us know what you think of the recipe. And we still have some of our pan con tomate burrata to enjoy this with us. Well, this is really Anna's half.
Yeah, so off your hands. All right, guys, we're gonna just leave you there because we have a meal to enjoy.
I got 4 that time.
Me too. That's a success. Woohoo!
So give us a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to keep up with us as we travel to different places and show you guys how to recreate the things that we loved most from that trip.